What is going on, guys? Adam here. In today's video I'm going to cover the fastest way you can lose belly fat and get to 10% body fat. I'm going to give you 4 simple steps to follow. They're going to pretty much guarantee results. In the past I used to struggle with my belly fat. It's only when I really honed in on what I actually needed to do and remove the distractions did I actually lose my belly fat. If you're new here and new to the whole fitness thing, on screen is pretty much what 10% body fat looks like. It obviously varies person to person, but that gives you a rough idea. And it's important to remember that belly fat is the most stubborn area of fat on most people, specifically most men. So that means it'll be the last place the fat comes off. Step number 1, you've probably heard this time and time again, but you need to be in a calorie deficit. This is where you're burning more from exercise and just your daily activities than you're consuming in terms of food and drink. But if you create too big of a calorie deficit, it's going to be detrimental. It's going to be too difficult to sustain and follow in the long term to see the results you want. Like I said, belly fat is stubborn, so you need to be dieting for a while to actually get rid of that belly fat. So what I suggest is working out your maintenance calories. Those are the calories you need to maintain your current weight. That's roughly your body weight in pounds times by 15. Then from there, you want to create a calorie deficit of 25%. You do that by timesing that number. Say you've got, I don't know, you've got 3,000. You times that by 0.75. That will give you a calorie deficit of 25%. But right now you're probably thinking, I've heard this calorie deficit so many times, but how do I actually get into a calorie deficit? So there are 3 main ways you can get into a calorie deficit. Number 1 is reducing your calorie intake through your diet. That's just eating less food, smaller portions, reducing your eating frequency. You can do that in a number of different ways. Even eating more whole foods can help you eat less throughout the day. Number 2 is exercising or just moving more in general. And you can do that by weight training, some cardio, a combination of both. And the third one is what I actually recommend, is doing a combination of the both. So actually training and eating slightly less. This is going to be the most sustainable way to do it in the long term. At this stage, I recommend you following a progressive resistance training program. That's a resistance training program that focuses around getting stronger and building more muscle over time. But at the same time, because you've got a lot of fat to lose and you're creating this calorie deficit, you're going to lose fat. The majority of you will fit that bill, but you've got a lot of fat to lose and you're relatively new to resistance training, and you can do both at the same time. And that's gonna be good news for the way you look, because when you've lost your fat, you're actually gonna look like you're 10% body fat rather than just ending up skinny fat and finding it very difficult to shed the extra pounds off your waistline. I recommend between 2 to 4 resistance training sessions a week. When you've done that for a couple of months and you feel like it's part of your routine, then it's time to move on to step 2. Step 2 is all about fine-tuning your nutrition. So this is looking at everything. So looking at your macronutrients like your protein, carbs, and fat. At the same time, the quality of your food. So we've nailed the calorie deficit, we're losing some weight, we're looking a lot better in photos, our waist measurements are going down, our lifts are going up, we're getting stronger, so now it's time to focus a bit more on nutrition. You've built the habits of resistance training, you've built the habits of eating a bit less. Now let's focus on quality so you can focus on eating even a bit less. So what we do here is we look at the overall nutrition. So what you will do as well, you'll look at your food diary, you'll take a food diary, another food diary. If you didn't do that at the start, I recommend you doing that at the start too. And then look over your food. Look over what you're eating in one day and try and improve the quality. I don't mean you have to buy like organic, grass-fed, like whatever, like really expensive food. What I mean is focusing on whole foods. Cook most of your meals yourself. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure you're having 1 to 2 servings of vegetables with each meal, 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day. I do recommend mainly berries because they're lower in calories and higher in nutrients as well. So like strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, etc. You can include like an apple as well because apples are highly satiating, but you get the picture now. And also you need to be making sure you're eating enough protein, and one quick way to do that is to make sure you're eating between 30 to 50 grams of protein. I would say 3 to 4 times a day. But if you want to be more like down to the point, down to the science, that's available. What you can do is you can use a way of working out your protein that Eric Helms, Dr. Eric Helms, who's one of the OGs, who's one of the greatest in the space, figured out. So, well, he proposed it anyway as a good way to measure your protein intake. So what you can do is your body weight, your height in centimeters times by grams. So if you're 180, you'll be having 180 grams of protein. And that's just a quick way to do it without fiddling around with like ranges and stuff. And if you eat a tiny bit less, that's probably going to be completely fine. But protein is highly satiating, so it's filling. So it's not just going to help you build muscle, it's not just going to help you recover for your workouts. It's also going to help you stay fuller for longer. So will the vegetables, and the vegetables will provide you with micronutrients you need to feel better, to recover better. Remember, this is an ongoing thing. This is not something you have to just do all at once. If you find that you're very busy and the quickest thing you can do is maybe add like a Greek yogurt into your day and that just ups your protein by, let's say, 20 to 30 grams, that's great. You can just focus on another habit, maybe adding some vegetables over the course of the next few weeks, just figuring out what vegetables you actually like and what you can actually eat in your day. Step number 3 is adding cardio. Here you're using cardio to burn even more calories, which is not going to lead to belly fat loss per se. Like cardio alone won't lead to fat loss, but in combination with eating less, eating better quality foods, and doing resistance training, it's going to add to the amount of calories you burn in one day, which is going to contribute to overall fat loss, which is going to contribute towards you losing belly fat. But Adam, I don't have time. Don't worry, I'm going to make it a lot easier for you. Just start by tracking your steps. Then wherever you are, you want to aim for 10K steps. You can do this by going for long walks. 30 minutes will get you roughly around 3,000 to 4,000 steps, jumping on a treadmill at an incline for 20 minutes, doing some light rowing, walking to and from the gym. And the last time I tracked walking around the gym between sets, I know it sounds insane, but honestly, I got around 2,000 steps just walking in between sets, like back, forth, around, just making sure I'm not just sitting down and doing nothing. And we know that when someone's between 160 and 200 pounds, they'll burn an extra 500 calories a day by getting in 10,000 steps. An extra 500 calories a day is an extra 3,500 a week. Step number 4 is intermittent fasting. No, it's not some kind of magic. It's just a tool we can use at this point if you're reaching like a plateau, if you haven't progressed for like 2 to 3 weeks. By progress, I mean you should be losing 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week on average. That's like a good weight loss, and that suggests most of the weight you're losing is fat, if not all fat, which is great. What intermittent fasting can do, it can help you build like a rigid structure where you stop eating between a period of time, which can in some people reduce appetite and can in some people lead to less calories consumed. So hear me out before just being like, oh no, it's not what I wanted to hear, let me just click no, because I am telling you the truth here. When they've done studies, they've compared intermittent fasting to just ordinary eating, and they found no significant differences over a long period of time in terms of fat lost. So what it does is intermittent fasting, it gives you a period of time. The most popular time is between 12 and 8 p.m. and that's your eating window. So it's just a window where you've got to eat, and the rest of the time is spent fasting. So intermittent fasting, something you can do to potentially reduce your appetite and potentially help you get into a deeper calorie deficit. The one thing I think is worth mentioning for those of you that train in the morning, especially resistance training, actually, if you resistance train in the morning, what you should do is maybe not fast that day, or if you still want to kind of follow the fasting structure because you find that it might help you, like with your calorie deficit, help you kind of maintain this schedule, I suggest you having a protein shake within 30 to 60 minutes after your fasted workout, because essentially if you're doing first thing in the morning, it'll be a fasted workout. So a protein shake with like 1 to 1.5 scoops of protein in with 2 pieces of fruit. That's only going to set you back like 300 calories or so, but that's going to ensure your muscles get the building blocks, the protein and also the carbs to help them recover and grow as well. Without that, you're just training fasted, then you're further depleting your muscle of like protein and carbs, and your muscle's broken down and it's not repairing because you're not giving it the protein, the building blocks, and yet you don't want that. And what you could do is, like I said, you could not fast that day, or you could just have that like within 30 to 60 minutes after your workout and then not eat a proper meal till like 12 p.m. Notice how the goal is obviously to lose your belly fat, but I'm still hyper focused on building and maintaining muscle. That's because if you don't focus on that, what's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where you've lost a lot of weight, you've lost muscle and you've lost fat and you've lost water, and it's going to be very difficult to get even leaner, lean enough where you're going to see, you know, your belly fat gone. By building muscle, you're keeping your metabolism elevated. You're also going to look a lot better because your body's going to be shaped when you actually lose fat. Honestly, like I said, you've got to stick with this long enough. You've got to be in this for the long term. It could take you anywhere between 6 to 12 months, depending on how much belly fat you have to lose. But honestly, it's so worth it. When I actually finally lost my belly fat, I felt so good. I felt good in myself, and I also felt good energy wise, because obviously when you have more body fat, your body is generally more inflamed, your immune system's weaker, like a lot of things are wrong, and you're much more prone to illness when you carry a lot of body fat. So you're gonna feel a lot better, you're gonna feel a lot more energetic, just good about yourself. Anyway, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to comment below. Deeper questions, feel free to send me an email, well, not an email, a DM on Instagram. Obviously you can email me. Anyway, that's all from me, so we'll talk soon.